Bum bum bum. What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesdays, or I like to call it DC New Comic Book Day / New Comic Book Day Eve. Today's a special one because we got a special guest, Mr. Ryan from Automatic Comics, and not to mention lots going on, guys. Moon Knight kicks off tomorrow. Is it tomorrow or is it today at 3 a.m.? So, like, if I stay up until 3 a.m. West Coast, does that mean I get to see it? I don't know. I can't remember how they were doing it. But I might wake up a little bit early to see it because I won't be home until like 8 p.m. tomorrow. So I'm hoping nobody spoils it. Just saw another trailer for it and it looks dope. Don't forget to Morbius on Thursday. Yes, Morbius is coming. So maybe one day, you're going to see him be popular or ASM 129s on, everybody's social media. Maybe Ryan will talk about ASM 129 one day because usually he's only talking about big books. So maybe that book becomes big, but we'll see. Joined by two guests today. So let's bring them out. First guest, you guys already know. He is always smiling. He's always showing books off. It is another Mr. FaceTime.
What's going on, bro?
You like how I introduce you? Always smiling.
That's a great intro. I like that. But no, 3 a.m. Eastern time. Let's not make it any later than it is.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Okay,
so that's what they're doing. They're still staying to that. Okay.
Yeah, as far as I know, they are.
Yeah, we were watching. I don't remember what we were watching just now, like around dinner time, and they had shown like two like newer trailers of Moon Knight. And I was kind of like, oh shit. But yeah, I'm excited, man. It's gonna be a good time. Hopefully nobody spoils anything. It's only 6 episodes, so I feel like it's gonna be one of those quick. 6 is but I mean, like, remember Wanda was 8, so
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think there's gonna be spoilers.
I think so.
You're gonna have to dodge them.
I think we're gonna ask Ryan what he thinks, because we usually do when there's shows. We usually like to do that. All right, give us your wild card / dark horse pick for a character that could show up, and I'm interested to see what he says. So, without further ado, let's bring in our special guest, Mr. Automatic Comics, guys. Boom.
What's going on? Yeah, ASM 129 might be a big book someday.
Someday. You know what? I honestly,
like, what?
Somebody had told me, like, we were having a conversation, and they said, I really think that ASM 129 will do the exact same thing that ASM 361 did. And I kind of was like,
no, they are not on the same level, like, at all.
If the movie's a bust and the character is, looked on as like horrible.
Wait, what? Wait, well, hold up. What the fuck are we talking about?
They aren't even like in the same league.
Or not one. Sorry. Not 129. 101. Sorry.
Oh,
101.
Yes.
I was like, what? I was like, what the hell is the Punisher doing?
That's why I was like, man, 120. That's why I was joking. Like, it's a small book or something.
These things?
I was real confused.
Yeah,
no. Sorry.
101 I do think is going to do pretty much the same thing as 361 because it has. I mean, even with all the negative news around the movie, like, it still was like spiking leading up to it. But I think it's gonna.
Yeah, I think so
I wouldn't
too,
be super confident in that one.
I really do too. I think the only thing that's helping the book out is that all these memes of Will Smith and Chris Rock, a lot of people are doing it with that book.
Oh God. That's like one of my favorite events in history right now. Like, it's just the memes they're so good.
They are. They're
those
great.
of you that don't know, in our private chat, Ryan sent us, I think, me, Jake, and Vancouver Comic Junkie. I think he had sent us maybe like 6 or 8 of them. Like,
I had some recommendations for the thumbnail for this week's video.
Man, it was such a good time, man. But yeah, I really do think that, like, if you are, because the reason is and obviously finance is like different for everybody, right? Depending on our age, depending on our goals, depending on whatever, your work, whatever. But I had run into somebody who was like a big Morbius fan, which is shocking to me. And he's like, I really want to get this book. And I just said, I really think that you should just wait till after the movie. The movie comes out like later this week. I think you should just wait, especially if it's a PC book. I mean, it's only going to go down, I think, just simply because of, look at all the reviews. I look at Eternals, like, look at that. Even though they're coming back and they're, this, and they're a good team and things like that, like, that's tanked horribly.
Yeah, like I was going to make an Eternals comparison. It's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be like that because it's still Spider-Man, you know.
Yeah.
So the fact that yeah, 361 has basically come back to more or less where like a 9.8 was pre-movie. I don't think 101 will do that just because it's like early bronze Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's possible, but I think it will come. I think it will come down quite a bit.
Yeah.
Even if the movie was good, I think it would probably come down quite a bit post movie.
Man, I just, it's crazy to me, this build up for the past, like, I mean, take away, you know, COVID, but even before COVID, just the build up. It's like a book that's just been up there for almost 4 or 5 years now. And it's just like, all right, is it going to be like a great book, or is it just going to tank? And we're going to find out on Thursday, right? I mean, I don't know. From what I hear from the reviews, it's going to be pretty bad. I'm going to try to stay away from social media like tomorrow afternoon and Thursday in general, because I don't want it to get spoiled. So we'll see. But I think a lot of people tomorrow are just going to be hung up on Moon Knight. So
Wait,
see.
You're concerned about Morbius getting spoiled?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Like,
I'm still old school. Like, I like to go to the movies like, oh, you know, like I don't want to be like, oh, this happens. Right?
I mean,
like,
I still haven't seen No Way Home, and it hasn't been spoiled for me. So, like, I mean, like, I feel like if you want to avoid things, well, it was like we were talking the other day. I was like, I don't know if that was like a month ago or something. I was like, when the hell did a Doctor Strange trailer come out?
Yes.
And you were like, it's at the end of No Way Home. And I was like, what is this? Like, it had been like, it was like 2 months after.
Yeah. And I remember having that conversation because me and Jake were just like, what is this guy?
You're like,
joking?
we talked about this. I'm like, no, we didn't talk about this. And I'm on Instagram. I had seen nothing on there. It was crazy. Like how it seemed like almost nobody was spoiling that. And then by the time maybe people would have, it was past. And so it wasn't until we really got like the actual Doctor Strange trailer that I was like, oh, okay.
I think the big thing with like the Spider-Man one though was everybody was hung up on Venom, right? Like I think that was just everybody's takeaway, like, oh my God, Venom. And then, you know, that just kind of got squashed. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Face, where are you on this Ryan missing the trailers / spoiling Morbius? Because I know you've seen
Nobody's gonna care about Morbius.
some of the
spoil it, I don't think.
some of the spoilers and reviews that are going out, but like
I mean, yeah, I don't think anybody's really gonna be too affected by spoilers from Morbius. I think everybody knew going into the movie that the big thing about Morbius was going to be Sony kind of trying to lean into ties to the MCU, and that's probably what you're going to get. I mean, I don't think you're going to see anything real direct, you know, because I don't think Marvel wants that.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get some connection to the Vulture, and
exactly,
maybe some other thing, but
right. Sony's going to lean into that shit as much as they can because that's what's going to bring them the money. And, you know, Marvel's kind of in a position where they're going to let it happen because it works for them right now, getting to use Spider-Man and everything. So
I just think it's funny that Leto's finally like, oh, now I can make up for that Suicide Squad movie. It's like I'm in a Spider-Man movie, and it's like, nope, you made the mistake of being in the property that doesn't have Spider-Man.
Yeah, 0 for 2, 0 for 2. And I think the other thing that should sting is that deleted scene from like the new Joker, right? Like that Batman movie, that Joker scene, that deleted scene that just popped up, I think like a week ago. Like I think that should sting too. Like you're 0 for 2 in Marvel movies. People are going nuts about this new Joker scene. I don't know. I feel bad for him.
I mean, he legitimately is a good actor, but he's been like that Joker, that version of Joker was, I mean, personally, I hated it. You know, like that was not a version of Joker.
The tattoos and the grill. Yeah, I didn't like that either.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good depiction of the Joker. I mean,
that's
I
get him. That's on what studio tells him to do. So
yeah, I mean, and they validated it as, you know, some kind of precedent with Frank Miller's run. But nah, it really didn't work out.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'd love to talk about Morbius and how it's going to tank for, you know, another hour, but we got a show to do. So let's get started. Keys to still invest in. And I always love doing these shows because even though I know the books on here, and even though I talk to Ryan about what books we're going to put on here, Ryan always brings out numbers and data and just really good points that make me think, man, I'm gonna probably go buy this. He's really got a lot of books in previous shows that have spiked that people have said, shoot, I should have bought that when you guys did your show or talked about it. And if you didn't know, Ryan has his own YouTube channel where he talks a lot about numbers and books. So I suggest everybody go tune in, but you'll hear a little bit more about that at the end. So before we get started, let's just say hello to the chat and then let's get rocking, guys. Because I am interested to hear something, because I did bring up a book at this show that I went to just this past weekend, and somebody was talking about this book. And I said, you know what? Because of Ryan, I'm talking about this book. So they were like, yeah, man, I think it's on the dip. I think it's a good book. So, you know, we're going to talk about it. Wesley taking home the gold. Canadians taking home the gold. I love it. Dan De La Torre with the silver. Michael with the bronze. Empire, what's going on, man? Empire's been helping me out a lot with all the whatnot stuff. He's got a few shows that he does, so got to show him some love. Mr. Johnny, another fellow Canadian. What is going on, sir? Tim, Canada is repping hard tonight. Mr. Bernard, Wesley Comics, one half of the Future Specs, North 49. Mr. Dave's Collection, Surge, RP, another fellow Canadian. The legend himself, Mr. Ultra Maximus. What's going on, brother? How you doing? I made about 3 memes myself. It's going back on the Will Smith. Oh, man. Oh, geez. My meme is the best. Yeah. I think a lot of people posted a lot about it. It's, yeah. And then it got to like the controversy where people were like, I think it was fake. It's like, oh, geez. Okay. Miguel, what's going on, sir? Man, he's in the house. Buying opportunity if the movie tanks. Absolutely. AOA's in the house, so you know what that means. He's probably going to want to hear me say something about Captain America, but it's not happening. Uncanny Swag, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I should get my
no
my super chats ready.
No. I love this comment. Oh no, I'm so mad you spoiled Morbius. No one ever. We'll see. Scott 5, what is going on? Maybe Leto will redeem himself when he's cast as Wolverine.
God.
Oh,
I hope not, just because of his track record with these comic movies.
Yeah, dear God, please no.
I heard Jada reciting the Winter Soldier at the face.
Right, that shit really happened.
Oh man, the only thing about that whole thing was he was laughing, and then out of nowhere, when the camera goes back to Chris,
he was clearly okay with it. Yeah. And then he was not okay with it when someone told him to not be okay with it.
But he open hand slapped him like.
I know, God, so good. Like, yeah, I mean, like when I watched, I was like, that's a crazy bit. Like, I assumed it was fake.
You know? And I thought it was fake until the swearing afterwards.
Yeah, no, that's when you see him. Like when, especially because like on the US when they cut, you couldn't, but like when I don't know if all the feeds that people were like posting, I think it was Australia or something like that, where they got the uncut ones. When you saw it, you're like, oh no, that I mean, he's a good actor, but I don't know if he's that good of an actor.
Oh man, yeah, I don't know, man. It's crazy. That relationship is a little crazy, but hey, everyone's got.
Well, seriously, when did Will Smith become so fucking gangster? Like he doesn't even swear in his raps. He's up there slapping people.
There's a comedian, Sam Morelli, that I really enjoy. Like his just delivery, his like very dry humor. I just love it. And he made a joke where it was like, "Wow, that was the first hit Will's had since the 1990s." And I was like, "Whoa!" Like I don't know why it just hit me, man.
I think one of my favorite comments somebody had was about I can't wait until the next South Park. It's just because I'm like, yeah, that's right. They're 100% going to just lean into that.
Oh man. Well, somebody made a meme about Dwayne Johnson being the host next year, and like Will Smith just being like, So yeah, it's fuck, man, it's crazy. Mr. Chris, what's going on, sir? How you doing, brother? He is from South Philly. I don't know what that means. Is that West Philly is like the bad one, right? Or like not the bad one.
I don't know.
Like the rougher area. Oh, geez. Vanilla Ice is more gangster. Oh my gosh, boy. 808 Zilla. There was a good joke. What did Chris Rock wake up with? Fresh Prince. Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah. That one was good. All right, so let's get the show going, guys. We are entering the newbieverse. Keys to still invest in. Now, again, these are all books that not just Ryan, but still a lot of meat on the bones, especially if you are looking to invest in some keys. Also, it should probably give you a good indication of things to connect the dots. So like if this is a good one, maybe some character connected with these characters or these books might be still a good buy. But Ryan always gives us some good advice and some good numbers with it. So let's get started, guys. Face, you ready?
You always put so much pressure on me.
Well, I'm always ready.
You're always ready. Okay. All right. First book, and Ryan, this one is interesting because the price tag, obviously, but we got Crime.
It's not a cheap book. I mean, I know you've only got one number up there. It does sell for less than 40,000.
Yeah, when I first looked at it, I was like, "Is Ryan kidding?" Right? Like, I honestly thought it was a joke, but then I started talking to a few other people, and they were like, "Yeah, man, that's like a classic book. There's only going to be room to grow."
No,
Classic book.
Yeah. So I mean, this it's actually it's one of my it's that book right up there on my shelf. So this one, the reason I recommend this book, or why I think this one is such a good book to pick up if you can, is because there is so much demand for this specific book. And so every time I see this book sell, I'm getting feedback. I don't know if that's from me or
feedback.
Yeah, like I'm hearing voice. Every time I see this book sell, it sells for more. It's crazy. It's like when we talked about Vampirella #1. That book does the exact same thing. It's like, I mean, yeah, you might catch a break like every once in a while, but it's like every time sells for more. And this book, it's no exception. It's now gotten up to the point where you cannot get this book for under $1,000 per grade point. I watch them sell about once every 3 weeks. Maybe I see one come up for sale once every 4 weeks, and every single time, more and more and more. And so if you are someone who is interested in things like pre-code horror, this is one of the books to get. It has more graded copies than what you would often see in a Golden Age book. I think it's like, I can't remember offhand now. If it's like 100, it's either like 150 or like 300. It's somewhere in that range, which for a Golden Age book is a lot. But when you talk about the demand that is there for it, it's not. And so, because like I bought mine, I don't know, 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, and I've been trying to upgrade that book, like trying to catch a deal on one, and I can't. Like they don't happen. And so this is one that you buy it, you put it on yourself or put it in a bin and hold it, and it'll keep climbing.
I like it. Face, what do you think, man?
So yeah, this is an interesting one because like I'm a huge fan of Golden Age pre-code horror. So you can't go wrong with picking up something like this and having it in your collection. The problem is obviously the price point. At this price point, I mean, you specifically are going to be a collector of this type of book, to go after it, because if you're going to spend $40,000 on a book and you're just a general comic book fan, you're probably going to go after one of the bigger, Marvel keys or possibly DC keys if you are into self-harm.
Yeah, and sorry, not to interrupt, but usually so if there were some like lower price ones, typically like a 2.0 is going to sell for like 2,200 to 2,400.
Yeah,
3.0,
that's
like
reasonable.
That's and so like you're going to be in the two. You can get, because that's where they usually sell. Because a lot of times these books are in lower grade. You're not going to come across an 8.5 very often.
Oh yeah,
but like 2,000 to 3,000 is kind of your like minimum buy-in point for this book.
Yeah. So again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with them, and I would always recommend having Golden Age, pre-code horror in your collection, because people are always into it. It's kind of like one of those things. It's like sort of like a niche following, but it's bigger than you think. There's a lot more collectors than you think, and I'm definitely one of them. So,
do you have this book, Face?
No, I would love to have this book. I'm definitely jealous of Ryan right now.
Ryan, really quickly, what grade is yours?
Mine's a 2.0, I think.
2.0.
Yeah, 2.0. Like they're
even 2.0, man. That's fucking. It's great to have in your collection. Even
there was a 2.0 last weekend that sold for, I think it was 24. It was 24 or 2500, and so like because I have a buddy that he wants mine whenever I upgrade mine. And so
Right?
I keep watching them, you know, and I let him know when like one that's like a similar grades is coming up for sale if he wants to bid on. He's like, man, that one's gotten expensive now, and I'm like, yeah, it's like it's crazy what it's doing now. But like I was watching an Instagram live sale a few weeks ago, and they had one, and they had like is raw though, and they had promoted it, and I was waiting to see what they were asking, and then they brought it up. And it was like 5,200, and I was like, no, just like, damn it. Like I was hoping it was going to be, you know, like if it was somewhere around like 35, I was like, maybe I'll take a swing at it, but not. I mean, it's because when you're buying raw too, like you've got a big grading investment, and you're just taking a risk. Like if there's color touch or trimming or anything,
and anything above like a 4 or 5 is really fucking rare to find anyway. So
yeah.
But I mean, like, and I get it. Like some people in the chat are like, whoa, you know, like that's still a lot of money for lower grade, but like it's not when you think about like, you know, how classic this cover is, you know, the golden age people. There's no spec to this, right? It's not like, oh, there's going to be a movie about, you know, like that's not what this is. This is literally going to gain popularity just because of the rarity of it, the classic cover of it, you know, just that whole concept. And like Ryan says, they just keep going, and people are attracted to when they actually go up for sale. So,
and if you take like the top 10 in demand pre-code horror books, this one is always on the list.
Yeah,
always.
Yeah,
you know, and so that's one of the things. Like this is one of, I mean, that's why it's been homage, whatever, a number of times. You know, it's just that's how you start to realize that, and that's how you get other people interested in it. You know, that's how you expand that audience. That's how you got that one where you have the woman that's holding the glass in front of her face, you know, and she's like a sculptor. Like that one has started to really blow up. Partly, I mean, it was already a big book, but even more so because people have been doing that.
Yeah.
And the thing about these, you know, unless you come across one of those like miracle finds at like a yard sale or a flea market or something like that, you know, the people that have these books have invested a good amount of money to get them because they are so hard to find, and especially in any type of decent condition. Mm-hmm. So they're not going to be sold for less. These books are not going to lose value.
Yeah.
Like, they're pretty much going to continually gain as they continue to get older and older. So it's a pretty safe investment.
Yep.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind being a player. It's just 2K. I'd rather just use it for Tales of Suspense right now. There was a guy at the show that I was at. He brought 2 Tales of Suspense 2.0s, and he wanted 12,000 Canadian for them, like each. And we could not make a deal. Like I had offered something reasonable, you know, comparative to like eBay prices and like what the last sold were and things like that. And he just was not having it. He was set on making 12,000 on it. He did not make 12,000 on it. And yeah, so
I mean, it's always a question of you never know what that person has in it.
Exactly.
You know,
100%.
So, like it could be maybe they paid like 11.5 and they're just like
100%.
I can't go below this number.
Yeah. And I would never like, you know, I never hate on anything or get mad. It's like, you know, if we can't make a deal, we can't make a deal. You know, you just got to look the other way, shake the hand and go the other way. But yeah, 12 grand was a little pricey. I mean, if I were to sell maybe like 4,000 at the show, maybe different story, but nah, we'll see. All right. This is Ryan's favorite book next on the list, but we love Avengers number 8, first appearance of Kang the Conqueror. Ryan, I will say,
I feel like you like to bring this up because I mean, but see, you're allowed to change your mind based on where a book's at, you know, and that's why like.
But this one keeps going down right now, and that's why I thought it was
not
perfect
really
time. Yeah, from the last time that we talked about it, it's gone down. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not like the book was 3,000 and now it's 1,000. It was 3,000 and maybe now it's like 25, 24, but that's still a significant drop, right? And it's only going to get hotter because Ant-Man is around the corner, less than maybe a year away. So I don't know. Some people have also said that Mr. Kang might show up in Thor. That is a rumor that's going on right now. So, I mean, all he needs to do is show up and it's just going to go up and down. You know, you guys know the cycle. But again, no introduction to this character, Mr. Kang.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. My 2 copies are with my presser at the moment, and then we'll be off to CGC because You know, it's one that I think it's good to be ready with. You
Mhm.
know, it's definitely, I mean, for me, it is a flip book. I mean, I'm buying it to sell based on over the next, whatever it is, 5 years that they use that character in various places. I mean, but it is, regardless, it is early Silver Age. It is an important book, but I don't think it's going to retain its value long term. So I always want to caveat that retain its value at where it's at. I mean, it's always going to have value, and that's one of the big positives of buying books like this, buying Silver Age keys, Bronze Age keys. Even if the price drops, there's still going to be people that want that book. You know, you're still going to be able to sell it and get a decent amount for it. You might lose some money, but it's not going to go to zero. But yeah, but this one, I feel like we've only seen this character one time in one scene. You know, I mean, I get the impression we're going to see him quite a few times. And so I still think it's crazy that the book is even, I mean, yeah, it sounds like, yeah, if you're saying it's like dropping on maybe a little bit more, but that's time to buy the book. Cause I'd seen some upticks in the sales, especially in the kind of like the lower grades,
Mm.
they had started to turn back up. And so that's really what I've been watching because, you know, I have mine and I want to, you know, see, kind of decide when I would try to sell them or something like that. But I'll
Ryan,
definitely be waiting a little bit.
do you remember, or were you, maybe is a better question to ask, is were you this invested, you know, because I know you, I know how you do your thing, but like, were you this invested when Thanos first arrived that you could maybe say, you know what, this book is kind of doing the same thing Iron Man 55 did
I
back in
wasn't,
the
I
day?
wasn't, I wasn't doing comics when
No.
Thanos first
Okay.
arrived. So like that was like, what was that, like 10 years ago now?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm just
I'm
interested to
only heavily
see
back
the,
into comics like
I'm
three
interested
and a
to
half
see
years.
the comparison of like what that book did, because Thanos just, you know, popped in and out, right? He was in, out until we finally got him in the last two movies. So I'm interested to see, maybe they're doing like a mirror image here where like obviously we know Kang's going to show up here, here, here. He could possibly be any identity, right? So I'm interested to see if like maybe there's parallels with like how Iron Man 55 did.
I bet that is a very pretty. I bet that's a pretty good comparison to Iron. I
Yeah.
mean, because Iron Man, but now Iron Man 55, it did the same thing. It jumped pretty heavy because I did look at that a while ago because I was wondering about how that book had moved over time, and it did jump pretty quick, similar to this when he
Yeah.
first showed up, and then it was pretty flat for a while, and then it near the end it started to ramp again. And so that's probably something similar we're going to see here. It's like as you see him more and more, then people are going to be interested in the character,
Yeah.
and you know, this is probably the book that they'll hone in on.
And again, let's not forget too, it's an early Avengers
Yeah.
book. So I mean, you know, let's not disrespect it that much. I mean, it is
Well,
issue
and that,
number 8. So
well, right, but the difference is like pre Kang when there were rumors on it, I had a couple 7.5s, and I had bought them for like $700, you know, and then a 7.5 when he was actually shown on Loki had jumped to like 4 grand. So that's where, like, yeah, you can still have value in a book because it's Silver Age first appearance of Kang, but there's a big difference between value in a book and value in a book with Marvel pushing the character
yeah,
or Disney pushing the
exactly.
character.
Face, where are you with Mr. Kang? Or I keep saying Mr. Kang. Where are you with
Yeah, I mean, I love this book. You know, Kang is a classic villain. He's gonna probably have a pretty dope depiction in the MCU. I'm kind of like Ryan though. I just don't really love it right now, like because I mean, obviously, if it's going up, you know, it's not the time that you necessarily want to be buying. Now, again, like you said, if it is on a little bit of a dip, that could be worth looking into.
Yeah.
But you know, yeah, we know Kang's coming. He's going to be the big bad for the next phase. So people have already been looking into this book for a while. So like, yeah, like Ryan said, I would kind of expected this be on a steady, you know, rise over the next however long it's going to be till we really see him show up and it hits its peak.
Yeah, and I feel like you know, that's when you want to buy the book. You don't want it when people are
Yeah, you
talking
definitely
about
don't want to wait when it hits that peak. Yeah, once it hits that peak, forget it.
I really think that
you really are going to pick it up. Now is the best time.
I really have I've been telling people to be careful in certain parts of like the year when things are coming out. And what I mean by that is if you look at the next, because let's face it, I mean, tomorrow is the 30th, but literally 2 days after it's April, right? I'm not just showing off that I know the calendar, but it's essentially April. And then in May, we got
so smart.
we got Doctor Strange, right? But what I mean is in less than a month and a half, you have 3 properties, right? So you got Moon Knight happening. I know we're bashing Morbius, but that's still a property. And then Doctor Strange comes. So what I've noticed with a lot of people is FOMO, right? And when there's like all these characters, you might have this book and be like, maybe I'll sell it. Like I'm okay making X amount of dollars on the profit. I'm going to sell it at this price, and it might be lower than what you could maybe hold on to. And I've realized that when certain properties come out, people just get that FOMO and they sell certain books. Just be on the lookout, because that happens not just with this book, but a lot of other books that people are like, you know what? I want to sell this so I can go get this. And it usually happens when there's like a lot going on. And this month and a half, there's a lot going on with just those 3 properties. So just, food for thought.
And people are, I mean, they're excited for Doctor Strange. I did like a poll on my channel, I don't know, a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And it was like about the upcoming movies,
I think I voted in that.
And the Doctor Strange one crushed everything. It was like that, Thor: Love and Thunder, Black Adam, Shazam, and one other one. I can't remember what the other one was. And Doctor Strange was like far and away the best, or the one that most people were looking for.
Yeah. And this is a good point that Dan brings up too. Kang has only been seen on Disney Plus, not the big screen.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Once he does, I mean, forget it. Like I said, you either want to get this now or you're gonna have a wait, because he's gonna be through the entire phase. So it's gonna be a minute before this drops.
Yeah, I really think this is very, a good one to get. All right. One of Ryan's favorites, but we got X-Men number 4. Now, we did talk about this one I think we talked about it last year when we did the show, and it was just right after WandaVision. And I think that the parallels that we made was, well, her show is ending. That's the time to buy.
But that's when you watch for it.
Yeah. And then, now we know that she's coming to Doctor Strange. And I think that this one's an interesting book, just simply because you got Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, you got the evil mutants, the Brotherhood, whatever. I always butcher it.
It's on the cover, so
it is. What is it? The Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Yeah, that's the one. But the important part here is, and it's not going down like crazy, but the fact that last week we got confirmation that there is no Wanda 2, there's no season 2 for it.
I mean, they told us that for a long time, though. I was never.
And now it's confirmed, though. And you know how people are, right? It's got to be confirmed. It's got to be but now it's confirmed. There is no Wanda season 2. Who knows what we see of her moving forward? Obviously, she's going to be in Doctor Strange 2, and it looks like she's going to have a prominent role. But like, you can't argue the fact that this is still a good book to have. But I just think that it's going to be one of those books that maybe people aren't attracted to anymore, or maybe just want to sell because they want to get onto other things. This is a good time to buy it if you really want it.
I mean, to me, Wanda is or Scarlet Witch is a secondary reason to buy this book. To me,
Magneto.
The big thing is it's Magneto and the wide variety of first appearances that are in it, and the fact that we haven't even had the X-Men in the MCU yet. Yeah. And so and it sounds like we might get some version, or not might, I mean, it seems pretty confirmed, of Professor X in this movie. And so then that's what starts that all off, because then you now officially have them somewhere in the MCU, whether it's another universe or whatever, but they exist in that world. And that's when I think books like this, where you have just, I call them more like general keys. It's like X-Men 1, giant size X-Men 1. I kind of think of them more as general keys. And so those are the types of books I really like to get when you're not really sure what direction they're going to take.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why. And plus, I mean, this is one of my favorite covers from the entire X-Men run. I mean, it's an awesome cover. And so it has that positive side going for it too. And so, yeah, you can pay too much for this movie. You can pay too much for this book, but I don't think right now is the time that you're paying too much for this book. It's still it hasn't. It dropped after WandaVision, but it's been relatively flat since then.
Yeah.
You occasionally have some like blip of a really big high sale, but it's generally been pretty flat, and so I think it's a safe book to buy. And I mean, I have one, and I've had no desire to sell that book. I mean, it's like I said, it's one of my favorite covers. I just hold on to it.
Yeah, this has definitely got some room to grow, because like you just said, we know it's only a matter of time before we do get the X-Men, and the Brotherhood is going to be a huge part of that. I mean, no matter what, because it's Magneto. You really kind of can't have you can have the X-Men without them, but it just wouldn't make a whole lot of sense or be anywhere near as interesting. So they're going to have Magneto and his Brotherhood at some point, maybe not this iteration, because obviously they already have Scarlet Witch established, and who knows what they're going to end up doing with Quicksilver or how they'll address that situation in the future. But
he's Craven now. What?
Right? Yeah. Who knows?
For one of the comments in the chat about being able to afford them, then what you do is you can look at alternatives to this. So now it's not nearly as good of a cover, but you go one issue later in X-Men 5, and then you've got third Magneto, you've got second Scarlet Witch, second, it's like second Quicksilver. Just you can shift to later books, and generally what you'll find is that they will move. If like you're looking for an investment in a character, if there's a character you like, they will move in a similar fashion. It's going to be at a different baseline value,
right?
Especially a character like Magneto, right? Like,
yep,
that's just an iconic character. So, yeah, it's going to be good.
Or like I had never heard it pronounced this way until I started watching the Superworld auctions. He says Magneto, and I'm like, what is that? And he's like, well, it's like magnets. And I was like, that, and I think that's how Kirby used to. He said, I think that's how Kirby used to say it. I think that's who it was. He said Kirby or Ditko would say.
I would probably laugh.
And I was like, I don't like that. I don't like sound right to me.
Yeah, it sounds awkward.
Yeah,
it sounds like how you would name a character in like the 40s.
Or the
like magnets.
Right. Always the thing that like is one, I always forget that this is second Magneto. Like I always do. Like it's just not something that registers right away with me. I'm like, oh shoot, right, it's second Magneto. But then just the green Scarlet Witch. It's always been something that I'm like, ugh, it's just weird.
She's red on the interior. It was just for the cover.
It's weird. Yeah. It's weird. All right. Silver Surfer #1. Simply because, well, Fantastic Four 48 is not coming down at all. There is no news of Silver Surfer coming. There's no news of Galactus. But that toga sandal wearing cover is still up there, making this alternative, as Ryan always likes to say, or as I like to say, move down the ladder. We got this one. So it's the origin of Silver Surfer. This one's picking up a little bit more so than the other ones on the list, but still really affordable. And I mean, you guys know how it works. If they ever mention, talk, he shows up, this thing is also going to explode. You got Silver Surfer #1.
Yeah. And I did a video maybe a month ago, 6 weeks ago now, and it was about undervalued silver, or not undervalued, but it was about Silver Surfer keys. And so it was just looking at the Silver Surfer keys and doing a comparison and seeing how they've moved in price over the last year, where they, which ones have come down some, which ones haven't, that kind of thing. And this was the most undervalued one that I saw. And so to me, that it's the one that I would maybe focus on, because it's definitely a book that because there's a risk with these. There's a risk that you don't see Silver Surfer or Galactus or anything like that for 15 years, which could be, it's a possibility that we don't see those characters for a long time. So you are definitely taking some type of and I'll air quote risk with that, but it's still Silver Surfer #1. I mean, it's still one of the more in-demand books for that character that's out there. And to see that as being one of the ones that's pulled back more than the others tells me that that's a good book to at least consider buying right now if you're interested in that character.
Yeah, I mean, with no news of Silver Surfer or Galactus or anything like that, this is definitely a time that you could probably look into this book. It's, obviously at those prices, it's still a solid cash investment, but if you're looking for Silver Surfer to come, and there's really no reason not to. I mean, there's already sort of been some hints and teases here and there for, you know, a lot of different cosmic things, and Feige's already said he wants to set up a lot more cosmic stuff. So yeah, if you believe in Silver Surfer, definitely not a bad time to buy. Like Ryan said, this is pretty undervalued for what it is, really.
Yeah. Ryan, Face, I got a question for you guys. Would you gentlemen get this or Silver Surfer 4? Me personally, I'm jumping on this one.
Yeah, I'd get that one. Now, I mean, Silver Surfer 4 is, you know, it's a cool book, but Silver Surfer 4 was like in the same vein as issue 2 until all the hype around, like, or the speculation that he was going to be in one, that Mephisto was going to be.
Or 3.
Oh,
No,
4. Oh, I was thinking 3. So this one or 4. Oh, I mean, I would get. That's tough. I like the cover of 4 more.
4 is the Thor one, right? The classic Thor.
Yeah.
So I like the cover of 4 more, but I would buy this one right now if I had to pick. You know, it was like for, you know, and you know, if I was going to pick a book to invest in right now, this is the one I would pick over 4. But I happened to do another poll recently with related to this, and it was like, what's your favorite Silver Surfer cover? And 4, I believe, the last time I checked, was the one that was crushing. It was like between 4 and 49. Fantastic Four 49. Those two were battling, but I think 4 was the winner the last time I looked.
Man, I think one of the best. Well, the two that always stick out for me is obviously Fantastic Four 50 minus the Pooh Brown, and the one with Hulk where he's like kind of pulling Hulk on the circle.
Well, yeah, Tales to Astonish.
Yeah, that one is probably my favorite one.
I had that as the fourth option on my list, and it got almost no votes because I had posted a picture of that one because today I posted a picture of that one because I'm like, I love this cover. Like, it is an awesome cover.
It was up against Thor 4 though.
Yeah, but yeah, it was up against 4. Yeah,
that's a classic cover. Like, people undervalue that one like so much. Same with Hulk 102. Like, people undervalue these books so much, man. Fuck. Yeah.
Damn. That's a tough call. You know what? I can't even decide right now. I'd have to put some thought into that one.
Spine Bull.
Yeah, this is time sensitive, man. You can't just come out like next week and be like, "Oh, Dan, by the way, so Silver Surfer 4," because we'd be like, "What? What are you talking about?" But,
fuck.
Yeah, the comment that I'm gonna used to draw him like wearing pants. You know?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like he's wearing underwear or something. Like, it's still, yeah.
It sucks because I would lean towards 4 because of the cover and the story. Like Dan said in chat, it is a better story than the first issue. But again, this is the first issue of the solo series, so it's tough. I'd probably lean towards 4, I guess.
Rebel. All right, let's lean towards the next book, and we've got Crow #1. Now, this one never been on my list. The only 2 people that really actively talk about this is Vancouver Comic Junkie. I know he's got a few, maybe 1 or 2, and then Ryan. But I get why it's a classic cover. I've just never really been a fan of it, even though
you're a little too young. I think that's the
that yeah, of course. And it's just never been a desired book for me. But yeah, Ryan, you probably have way more to say about this because this is up your wheelhouse.
For us older gentlemen like myself, you know. But yeah, no, I mean, like, this is it's a very it's a very difficult book to get in nice condition. This book is it's not just all basically black on the front. The back cover is all black with some like text in the middle. You know, it's like it was just made to be damaged. And it was also from Caliber Press, who didn't use the best, generally considered the best quality materials. And so I think like a 9.8 sold recently for 18,000, something like that. Yeah.
Even though a 9.6 sold for 56?
Yep. Yeah, I think the last sale on a 9.8 was like 18.2 or something. It might have broken 20. I don't remember if it broke 20. One of the guys that's just buying them up is if you follow the man behind the red hood on Instagram, I think he's got like 3 or 4 9.8s. Like, I think every time a 9.8 comes up for sale on any platform, you are bidding against him. and he will. It seems like he will pay whatever the price is to get it. So
is it more because it's a classic cover, Ryan, or is it because it's low print? Like, what are the dynamics here for this?
Well,
book?
I mean, it's the difficulty of getting it in grade is a big part of it. But there is also talk of them making some property with this character, and so there's definitely talk that we're going to get the Crow back in some form in a more modern movie or show or something like that. And so that's one of the things that I can't remember which, because I picked up I think I have a 9.4. I picked up one recently, and one of the things that I talked about when I did that unboxing was how that's why we're seeing these spikes in these, we'll call them like independent characters, things like that, like Cerebus and Cerebus the Aardvark and Usagi Yojimbo and that kind of stuff. Where you have these characters that you've got places like Netflix and all these other streaming services that want content, and they can't get the superheroes that are with Marvel and DC because those are all taken. And so they're moving on to other independent publishers and things that they can get access to that content. It doesn't cost a fortune. And so that's why you're seeing these moves in these books, because it's just eventually they're going to get made, and they might be bad. So there's always a risk with that. If it's on Netflix, it's kind of like a 25% chance, I think, that the show is going to be decent.
25? Really? Okay.
I felt like I was maybe a little high.
Usually, I think if it goes to Netflix, it's usually about 40%. Like, okay.
Oh man, maybe the ones you see. There's a lot of crap on Netflix. So, but yeah, I mean, so it has definite speculation value. It is not a big print run, and if you can get it in the 9s, it's just, if you get one of these books in hand and you look at it, you're like, how did anything like this survive, in this condition? Just because it's crazy what that cover looks like.
So Phil was saying that back in the day, an average indie print run was about 2,000. So I don't know the exact print run.
Yeah, and Chris says 10%. My 25 was, is a little high.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the print run was on this, but it was definitely pretty low. And it's one of those ones like TMNT and Usagi. It's kind of like but it's just it hit at a time when people were really getting into comics and checking out the indie stuff, and it was a low print run for this. Like you said, really hard to find in good condition because of that cover. But as far as the reboot or whatever, I think it's actually a little farther along than just talks. I think they've actually done they might have done some casting for it. Or
that's what I've heard rumors of casting.
Yeah,
and
I think
I don't know who owns it though. I don't know who's thinking of making it.
Yeah, I can't remember offhand. But the nice thing about this is actually you really probably don't have to worry too much about if it sucks, because the Crows, when it came out, it was pretty dope, but it's had some reboots since then, and not all of them have been great. So
is he a zombie? Is that what the power is?
What's that?
Somebody had asked in the chat, is it like he's a zombie, or what's the powers of the Crow? I'm too young, so man, I mean, I'm 34. I mean, I think I remember the show.
I've seen the movie, and I've never read the comic, to be honest.
Yeah, okay. But like the powers of the character, like what's behind the character, like what is it? I don't know.
I know he is back from the dead. Like
that I knew.
But I'm not sure as far as like specific powers. Like I said, it's been so long since I've seen the movie. But I know
there was a show, right? There was back in the 90s. There was a show about it, and I remember it just. Yeah, I was like,
there might have been. I know there was several other projects that have come out in regards to it that not all have been successful. So,
but yeah, so last 9.8 sale was in January of this year, and it was 18,000. And there was one prior to that in June, because they don't come up for sale often because there's not many of them, and that was 9,600. And so that just kind of it's like it's just accelerating. People are paying for that book.
Chris says he is resurrected from the dead to kill those who wronged him and those who loved him. Why would he kill the ones that love him? That makes no sense.
So zombies do.
Yeah, I think he means kill the people that wronged him and the people that
and the people that wronged him.
Oh, gotcha. I was like, man, pick a side.
But because that is such an expensive book, if you want an alternative for it, you can go for there's a book called Caliber Presents #1. That's actually the first appearance of the Crow, and he is on the back cover. So that's one that costs quite a bit less. And then if you want something that's invested in that character, there's also other prints, and so you can get second print or whatever, and those are all generally less expensive.
Yeah.
I need to check it out and give it a read at some point.
I'm gonna have to check it out. One book that I really want to check out because I truly do believe that this is gonna be a very expensive book. Is Edge of Spider-Verse #2, first appearance of Spider-Gwen. You clearly know. I don't know how I missed this book back in the day. I always get jealous when BC always shows his off because he got his right off the shelf and it's a 9.8. But I mean, 2,100, 2,200 Canadian for a 9.8 for a character that if Miles is coming, she cannot be too far behind. Not to say that Miles is coming next year or in 2 years, but the fact that people are going goo goo gaga for Miles and breaking records, this character should be right behind Miles, and I think that it's super undervalued. You might be able to score a deal. Not to say that maybe a 9.8 you can get like it for $1,000, but I've heard some guys selling it for 1,700, 1,800. So there are deals to be made, maybe a few bucks off, but still a book that I would definitely invest in. Undervalued for now. Still a lot of meat on the bone, and I would love to have this one. But what are your thoughts, Ryan? Because I know it's a modern. I don't know how you feel about moderns.
Well, I mean, it's one that I'm a little torn on right now because I feel like it was a really good buy, and then now it's a little riskier. Same with like Ultimate Fallout 4. Like Ultimate Fallout 4 had fallen down quite a bit, but this one and that book have both returned pretty strong. And so, this one is getting up around 2,000 again, where it had fallen down, I think, to around maybe like 14 or 1,300 for 9.8. And with like Ultimate Fallout 4, it's got a number of sales now getting up in that mid 3,000 range again. Like
Spider-Verse 2 comes out, I think, at the end of this year. I believe it comes out at the end of this year too. So you've got potential for another spike as well, right?
Yeah, and so that's the tough part with these, because I mean I think for like if you call like modern keys, that kind of thing, they are great books to own. I don't own one. I would love to get one at some point, but right now at this price point, I'm hesitant to, just because it is really back up near its highs, right. And so that's just something to maybe it's something to watch. But yeah, it very well could just keep going up into the end of the year. That is a very likely outcome of passing on it, but that's kind of the risk you take sometimes with this stuff. You may end up having to pay more in the future. But I don't really like buying books when they're getting back up near their peak. And I feel like that's where this one and Ultimate Fallout 4 are kind of sitting right now.
Yeah. I mean, I love the character. And I think with this book, you're definitely going to see some waves that you'll have to ride out. Like Ryan said, coming off of No Way Home, it's probably, riding one right now, because there's a lot of anticipation for what they're going to do in the future with the Spider-Verse over there. And, there was a lot of hope for maybe some incarnation of Gwen Stacy, from Andrew Garfield's universe. So people got excited about that. Yeah, and it's definitely going to be on a spike right now. That being said, there's probably time between now and when that project actually arrives, if it even ever does. I imagine at some point Sony will probably lean into, Spider-Gwen or Ghost Spider. How far down the road that is, and if it ends up being that version or a completely different version of her, who knows? But either way, as soon as that announcement starts coming out, obviously you're going to see huge spikes in this book. That doesn't mean it'll be good or that it'll stick or anything like that. You may see some pretty drastic dips after that, before hopefully eventually the rights go back to Marvel someday. But
the thing too with this book is, especially if you're a new collector or you don't know what you're looking for, be very careful, because there are, I think, 3 reprints and the facsimiles out there, right? Like this one,
more than 3. I think there's 5. I think there's 5? At least 5 prints that look, because there's this one, there's the blue one, there's the green one, there's the pink
orange one.
orange.
the orange one, and then there's like
Mexico.
pinkish purple one.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the facsimile, I mean, we've heard stories, even though people say, hey, be careful, look out for this. When the facsimile came out, and I remember BC telling me, because me and BC had a conversation where
I hate facsimiles.
I told him, I said, dude,
Drive me nuts.
this is going to have the same effect that Ultimate Fallout 4 has. People are going to get scammed in thinking that this is this book, right? Especially if they don't know what it is. And surely enough, people did get screwed, right? So make sure you do your research. If it's really too good to be true, it probably is. So that's just more for people who don't necessarily know the cover and they're new to collecting, especially if you want to go after this one. Make sure you get the true first print of this, because you could get screwed over.
Yeah, I think
And I would love to get that. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the only difference is what the red Marvel box.
Yeah, something. I don't know what they all look like at once, but I do know, like Ryan said, just the different colors and stuff like that. I think the building, so on the right there, you know how the building is blue, it's like the different color, and then up at the top where it says like Edge of Spider-Verse, that's a different color as well.
Oh no, I was meaning for the facsimile. I think the only difference is like where it says Marvel, it's in like a red box or something like that on the facsimile.
Hey, I fooled some people thinking I got Tales of Suspense 39 with that facsimile until the price was shown. So I mean,
right.
Just saying. All right.
Yeah, and just jumping back to that, just one thing to be aware of too. It's weird. There's like it's not an official variant, but just something to be aware of. If you have one that it's like where the background is darker, that is actually selling for more.
Really?
It's almost like a printing variation, and so it's enough so because like I do some stuff with Cover Price, and it's enough so that they actually have a separate designation for that one, because it regularly sells for a different price than these we'll call it the standard. And so just something to be aware of out there. There are people that will pay a premium for that. And so if you happen to have that one, just something to look for.
Did the spike happen because of the Miles animated movie or way before? I think it was just from the Miles movie, but again,
the spike all happened because of the video game, right? Like that's what originally drove those characters' prices up.
Yeah, fuck, man. I wish I would have grabbed this one. This is one of those shoulda, coulda, woulda. What's that?
I thought you had this.
No, that's BC, man. BC has it.
Oh, okay.
I wish. All right. I think this one you got a little bit of time because, like I said, May 6th, Emma Stone gave me.
I was waiting to see if you're going to read it out.
Doctor Strange 2 comes out May 6th. It's just around the corner. Obviously, getting into April later this week. We're basically a month, less than a month and a half away from it. Big movie, but his first appearance. One, it's an ugly cover. And it's like really priced out. So, when you start doing that ladder effect, I mean, this is a really nice alternative, but we got the origin of Doctor Strange. Really great cover, especially in high grade, man. If you've seen some of these
it's so expensive so fast.
I know, it's crazy. I remember this book being on shelves for like $170, like a high grade. And I remember being like, nah.
Yeah, it was so cheap. This one, I think part of the reason I just wanted to talk about this one is just because it's been such a surprising jump to me. Like this is one I mean, like a lot of times I feel like you can kind of predict which books are going to move and that kind of thing. But this one because it's such a it's one of those weird number ones, it's like Hulk 102 and Captain America 100, like that kind of thing. And those generally don't see that kind of move. But this book has gotten really, really expensive. So I think it's more just to be aware that if you own this book, it has a lot of value now. I mean, it's like you can see it on the sales there, just like kind of like mid grades for multiple hundreds of dollars, like pushing close to $1,000 in like 6s and 7s. I mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, and it shows you why some of those other books like Hulk 102, maybe because it's a super cheap book, like one to maybe look for, that it's because at least with Hulk, those first 6 issues of Hulk have all gone like to the moon over the last like 6 to 8 months. Just crazy what the prices are on they used to be really affordable outside of issue 1. really affordable, and now they've gotten really expensive. And so that's why you could look at like Hulk 102 as maybe kind of a parallel that someone you might want to go for. But yeah, I thought this was an interesting one to talk about just because it's gotten so expensive. Would I buy it right now? No, not going into the movie because of it's gotten so expensive. But it's one that maybe I would look at after to see if there's any type of pullback. It's a book to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I love this book about 6 months or so after the movie, when people are, moving on to the next project or whatever. These origin stories have been on the rise consistently since this whole spike in comic interest took off around COVID. And Doctor Strange being a central player in the current phase of the MCU, he's going to be one of the big ones to look for right now. So yeah, this is already, like, Ryan had just said, had big spikes, and it's going to continue to go up pretty steadily going into the movie. Coming out of it, usually about 6 months you start to see things cool off, but it's going to depend really on what the residual effects of this movie are, and how how big and important it looks like it's going to be going forward. It'll cool off some, but it's probably going to be a while before you see any of the Doctor Strange keys really start to level off. So,
and it's one of those things I wonder how. I mean, we've seen Spider-Man stuff come down a little bit since the Spider-Man movie, but not too much. A couple of the characters, but I wonder how different it's going to be in this. I'll call it like a new environment for these movies and shows where we've got stuff coming out it's like month after month. Like if it means things will retain value, or if it means people will shift to other stuff quickly and it'll drop. I don't know. And so it'll be kind of interesting to see how that ends up playing out.
For sure.
Side note, not connected to this at all. I just want to answer you, our Venom. Yes, I did grab 2 copies actually. They no longer are mine because I sold them. But yeah, that's a book that we talked about on
Flipper
Sunday show. And we had talked about even no, I think we talked about it Sunday. Yeah. I was gonna say we talked about it before, but no. But yeah, that's definitely a book. I mean, if you see it on shelves, it's still going for like $25-$30. So but I mean, I've also heard that it's a great read. I just don't know because they sold really quick. So
I got a question though. Why is Astral Strange so fucking jacked?
I don't know.
Like he looks like he's been working out.
That's how he sees himself. That's what he wants to be like. He's just like, yeah, you're right. I don't know. It's like he's huge. He's ready to take on the Hulk.
Right.
All right, guys. Speaking of Silver Surfer earlier, but we got Fantastic Four 50, first appearance of Wyatt Wingfoot. What did I say? Wingfoot? Wingfoot.
Close enough.
Who knows?
Yeah, there's a foot in there.
Nobody cares.
Third appearance of Silver Surfer as well, and obviously, 1/3 of that trifecta / Trinity. I was actually with Ozzy, Mr. Comic Ozzy, who just purchased this one as he stole it from me.
But, at the show?
Yeah, at the show. Yeah, he stole it from me. But I think it went to a good home just simply because, well, he has 49 as well. So he's just missing 1. And I know personally that Ozzy hates 48. I don't know why he hates 48. I've never asked him, but I know that he's always just been like, I don't like that cover. So I don't know if he's going to maybe go with the
49 is the far superior cover.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've always liked 50. I really do. But this one, the one thing too, and again, it's speculative, with a lot of speculation and all that too. But this one has been talked about in the last, 6 to 8 months. I know guys like, Lords of the Long Box, Mikey, there's others, but they've talked about, Wyatt kind of showing up in what capacity, who knows? And again, just how we talked about earlier with Silver Surfer 1, who knows if we even get Silver Surfer at any point. Still an iconic book to have. This one's probably the cheapest one out of the 3, right, Ryan? I mean, 48, 49,
by far,
50.
It's by far the cheapest one. Yeah. And this was the other. So the top 2 on my video that I did, and that's why I recommended them for this, was Fantastic Four 50 and that Silver Surfer 1, for books that had kind of like pulled back and were now looking like they're undervalued compared to their peers for Silver Surfer. And so, yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people don't like the brown background on this one, but it still looks pretty sharp off against Silver Surfer. I think the main issue with this cover is the little like Johnny Goes to College block down in the corner. If that wasn't there, it would be like awesome looking cover, like real clean, but still it's third Silver Surfer, second Full Galactus. I think it's the first Ultimate Nullifier. There's all kinds of little key things at that point as well. And if you're someone who wants all three, you're gonna have to buy this one too.
So, it's gonna be funny for like years from now, because like even I look at that picture of like Johnny Goes to College and you see all these people in like suit jackets and like all the, you know what I mean? And it's just like, where are they really in college or what? So yeah,
I wear sweatshirts.
Yeah, exactly. In college, I wore track pants and a hoodie every day. But yeah, to your point, Ryan, I agree, man. I think if that bottom square thing wasn't there, I really think that this would have made it pop and clean. And again,
that's why that like Tales to Astonish 93 looks so awesome. It's like a clean cover where you have that, it's like like a nice clean background, and then him and Hulk on there.
And this one, he's not wearing underwear.
Yeah, he is not wearing underwear on this one.
So, Face, what are your thoughts, man?
Well, listen, none of us went to college in the 60s. Maybe this is what they wore to college. So
this book would have came out what, 69, 70?
Something like that.
No, this would be price, I would think 68.
68? Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, the box still kind of ruins the cover. I think even more so than the background color. But it's still a dope Surfer cover. So, it's
1966.
I agree.
Yeah, I was just checking. I was like, no, that seems too late. Yeah, it's definitely.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like 61, wasn't it? 61, the issue number 1. 61 or 63. Yeah, it's like fuck. It took that long to make 50 issues.
But it's part of that classic trifecta. So
what the fuck? Just randomly we correct ourselves. 69.
We're all children.
Oh my god.
As far as Wyatt showing up, who knows? There's a chance. I don't know how important he'll be. Maybe they'll give him I mean, he kind of had a role, a decent supporting role with the Fantastic Four for a while in the comics, but it's hard to say if that will translate over into any type of live action. You never know. So
yeah.
It's possible. But yeah, this is part of that classic trifecta. So
it's perfect timing.
Yeah, I know. Kamikaze. He was just trashing you for stealing his Fantastic Four 50.
Perfect timing, Ozzy. Just coming in at the right time after stealing this book away from me. Jeez. For those of you that don't know, I didn't buy anything at Toronto Comic Con like two weeks ago, and Ozzy and I were looking at this book, and it was the guy I think had it at like $650, and then Ozzy made a deal for it. And then as Ozzy was purchasing this book, I had said $575, way lower than what Ozzy got. And the guy just didn't even like notice me. He just was like, I'm not even going to pay attention to you. And then he asked me to basically take a picture of the deal happening. So yeah, but to me, it was Ozzy stole this book from me. That's how I'm always going to remember this. So
that makes sense.
But yeah, Wing Fu. Yeah. Vancouver, it took a minute to understand your joke. Thanks for keeping it in the gutter. This is why we're all friends. All right. I hate to bring this book up, but we've got Avengers number 4. It's an all right cover.
He is the superior Avenger. So I feel like I should maybe send some super chats.
Reintroduction of Captain America. I'll give it its props. 9.4 sold for $36.66 just 2 weeks ago. So that's kind of impressive. But again, when you think about it, I mean, it's Avengers number 4, super early. If you're a Cap fan, you probably want to buy this. There's probably like 10 of them out there. But what are your thoughts, gentlemen? Because I mean, you look at these mid grades, and again, right, like you're looking at basically almost $1,000 to get into just owning this book, probably raw. You look at those mid grades. I mean, you're already in a 4.5 to 5.0. You're anywhere. Like, look at that 5.0 sale. 5.0 on February 24th sold for $33. A month earlier, in January of this year, Sold
Yeah,
for 40.
you'll get prices kind of all over the place. So it's definitely a book to watch if you want to own a copy of this, and you can get lower grades for now. Anytime I've had an opportunity to buy a copy of this book for under $1,000, I do it, just because I'm like, even in a low grade, I'm like, if it's under $1,000, I feel like that's just a steal for this book. But you can get them. I've managed to get a couple at that type of price point, and so definitely one to watch for. But this is another one of those that if it's having a taking like a break in prices, I would buy it. I mean, I don't see any risk really in buying this book. I mean, and I'll say, like, same thing with, like, Tales of Suspense and that kind of stuff. Like these major Silver Age keys, you can always, there's always the chance that you pay too much, like you pay that just peak price, but they generally over the very long term are just going to keep trickling up. Yeah, and yeah, I'll take a break though to let you read this.
Comic Ozzy, that super chat, man. Comic Ozzy saying, I wear Captain America boxer shorts. Man, thank you for that super chat, Ozzy. You are too kind, sir. Please don't ever give me a super chat again. No, but I appreciate it, man. If you guys know Ozzy, you guys know he's got a lot going on right now, in a good way, not in a bad way. So make sure you guys go check out Ozzy. Dude, thank you for the super chat, man. Is this because you were late to the show? I don't know. For those of you that don't know, we were selling at a show, and Mr. Ozzy was like, you know what? I'm gonna let Newbie set up, and I'm gonna pull the I was tired.
Were you guys sharing a table? Is that how it?
Yeah, we shared a table.
Cool.
No, I was a little worried because Ozzy's always on time, and he slept in. He had a long weekend, working and stuff like that. But big shout outs to Ozzy, man. Another AOK, and of course it's coming from AOA. AOK is coming from AOA. If they ever do a sequel to 8 Mile, I could probably be in it. That's all I'm gonna say. But Captain America is the only Avenger lead. It's the only Avenger leader. That even sounds crazy just saying it out loud. But AOA, thank you for the super chat, brother. I appreciate it so much, man. One day you're gonna have a YouTube channel, and I'm gonna go on there and super chat the hell out of you with Iron Man stuff. Okay, just so we're clear.
If you want to send me money,
I'm sure we can get some big ropes out of those.
Here we go. But thank you for the super chat, AOA and Ozzy. It's always appreciative, guys. Thank you so much. Face, where are you with Mr. Captain America's reintroduction here?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty major key as far as Avengers, especially the early issues goes. So you can't go wrong with it. Like Ryan said, it's probably not a bad time to look into it because, everybody's kind of off of Captain America stuff right now.
Because he's dead?
Yeah, has been for a while. Yeah,
because he's a bum?
Yeah, so it wouldn't be a bad time to check those out.
It's an all right cover. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I get the importance of Captain America, but
You got the weird Iron Man face mask on the back there with like the pointy ears.
With like the points and stuff. Yeah, it's not ever been a good cover of mine. Also, not to mention, like, I always thought it was weird that they had that Submariner, I don't know. It just
get ready to box.
Yeah. I've also never really liked just so many things I've never liked about this one, but hey, it is what it is. It's not my character, so. What? Oh my!
I feel like I didn't recommend this one.
This cover looks fucking painful.
I think you did. I believe you did. But we got Iron Man #1, and guys, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, and probably not. But with Tales of Suspense going up, this one has also been just floating around, and with adaptations of possibly Superior Iron Man, AI Iron Man, Infamous being kind of the same one, but with Riri coming, she is confirmed to have parts and roles in Black Panther 2, which comes out in November. She also has it's not confirmed yet, but it's rumored that she might show up in Armored Wars as well. And then of course next year having her own show. There's a lot of Iron Man stuff that could be into play, especially when you think that he is an OG. I mean, he did change the movies. I'm not just saying it because I'm biased, but he is a big character. This one is super undervalued as like maybe the second book, right? I really think that there's a lot of value in it. I've seen these super cheap. Like I saw a 6.0 at a show for I think like 650 Canadian, which is like
Why didn't you buy that book? That's like a steal for that book.
I know. Well, I have my copy, so like I figured like okay,
buy
maybe
it
if I
and
sell
then
mine,
sell it.
I'll sell that one. So I don't know, but this is definitely really undervalued. I'm not just saying that as the Iron Man guy. I really think it's undervalued, and I think that there's a little bit of room to grow. Now, will this one kind of go? No, this one's going to be one that kind of just goes slowly, little by little. But I mean, if it's an investment book anyway, that's what it takes, right?
Well,
so
and that's most of what we talk about on here. I mean, it's not necessarily. I mean, a lot of times it's not like the spec book that's going to, ramp up hundreds of % in a day or something like that. That's not what these books are. But yeah, and this one did get really expensive. It had gotten really expensive, and it's definitely come down some. I do think of the number one type covers, like this one, Submariner, Hulk 102. I think it's a toss up. Like this one might be my favorite one because I like the purple background. Submariner one I really like too, but this is it's a really cool book, especially it's one of those books like when you have it in person and you see all the detail that's in the background. It looks really sharp. And yeah, it's not a risky buy. It's it's a character that is now kind of in the like the mindset or minds of basically the world because of the Avengers and all that. And so yeah, if you get chances for these books to come down, they're generally going to be safe investment books.
First issue, and my man's looking like that on the cover. It's no wonder he ended up with a demon in a bottle. That looks...
Are you paying attention to the screen right now?
I'm trying not to.
Hero.
That cover looks painful though. Yeah, I'm not sure if he's, I don't know, passing a kidney stone, doing a split. I don't know what's going on there. He's got some problems. But regardless of that, yeah, I mean, Iron Man, he's one of those characters like everybody's kind of off of him right now, obviously, because again, he's dead in the MCU.
Whoa, too soon.
Well, he does have a little bit more prospects, I guess, than like Cap or Black Widow, because you could potentially see an AI version or whatever of Tony show up. There's some more not Iron Man projects, but some projects that are kind of in that corner of the universe getting ready to happen with Ironheart and Armor Wars, but they're really not having as much of an effect on like specific Iron Man issues, at least right now. So again, like the Captain America issue, this might not be a bad time to look into it if you want to, pick it up with the collection. Still pricey issue to have, but
I'm not even. AOA's got another super chat. Thank you, brother. I'm a French Canadian and I really love Captain America, even though I say I don't. I'm not French Canadian. I live in Ontario. We do not speak French.
You are now. It's on the internet.
The point is, we can make a clip of you saying it.
Yeah, no, that's BC. BC and Hyper are French Canadians. They are in Quebec. Yeah, no. But thank you again for the super chat, man. Oh, dude. I feel like there's going to be like one day soon, there's going to be a YouTuber that just puts out a video of all these Captain America things I do. It's probably going to be like a 10, 12-minute video. And it's just, yeah. Newbie, why do you still have an Iron Man 3 poster? It's actually one of a kind in the sense that there's only a few printed and I got it really cheap. So
I feel like you don't know the definition of one of a kind.
Right?
I know.
There's only a few, but it's one of a kind.
It's one of a kind. And
it's a few of a kind. All right.
It's a few of a kind. So also, Chris said he was going to send me a poster like years ago and then just forgot. So that one's still hanging out. So I'm calling you out, Chris. I'm calling you out.
He's left the chat already.
Yeah, he's probably like, what do you say? Jared Leto. No, come on.
That just sounds, I won't even say that.
That just sounds crazy. Oh dear, I tune in and the first thing I see is Iron Man rubbish. See, we mentioned French Canadians. Guess who shows up, right? Just saying. But Ryan, to your point too, I mean, a lot of those premiere issues, and I've had this conversation with Chris, right? You know, Submariner 1 was super undervalued for a very long time, and then the news of him showing up last year, that kind of made it spike. Iron Man, super undervalued. You know, Hulk 102, I think the fact that what hurts that one is the fact that it's 102, but then they say it's the premiere issue. Same with Cap, you know, 100, things like that. Like, it hurts them, but at the same time, they're so super undervalued that I think people sleep on it, man.
I'm not sure what that's in reference to.
It's 2022, man. You can't just be saying things like this. Morbius looks good. Oh God. When newbie finally,
I honestly, like, from the trailers, I thought I was excited for Morbius. I thought it looked like it could be good, and then the reviews came in, so we'll see.
Yeah,
I mean, I
trailer
always
looked
judge a
bad.
movie on its own.
Listen, the same people were saying that Venom 2 was a great movie.
Yes, I mean, yeah, that's
Right.
true. Now I haven't seen Venom 2 yet because I did not like the first one, so I've never been in a rush to see the second one.
You're just throwing money away at that point to go see Venom 2. It's just you're throwing money away. Like, yeah, I would be okay watching like a bootleg copy of it where they're not even speaking English, and I would be like, yep, still garbage. So,
How would that make it better if you didn't understand them?
yeah, probably.
Okay,
Guys, that was the show, man. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We had about 65 people live. Lots of things happening in the YouTube world, obviously. Myself, if you've caught me, just did my first Whatnot sale yesterday. I'm going to try to be doing them once a week. Come check me out, man. Whatnot right there. We do ship to the US. I say we because I feel like I'm a part of Whatnot now. But yeah,
You're in the Whatnot family.
Yeah, I'm in the Whatnot family. It's nice just getting to sell a few books to people who, you know, you're not used to, or if they're looking for it and you have it. But yeah, come check me out Monday next week. I've got one. Make sure to hit the thumbs up, like Phil says. I've got probably another video coming out sometime next week, maybe a little hunt or something like that, because I got a few days coming up and I'm off, so probably gonna go hunting. After that, guys, it's just Sunday, 9:35 p.m. Eastern. We're rocking in the newbieverse. Mr. BC is gonna be joining us, so that's gonna be fun, and of course the co-host, Mr. Comic Ozzy. Other than that, that's it for me. Ryan, I want to thank you so much for tuning in, man. You always come and, give your honest opinion. Thank you for not sending super chats today because, yeah. But let the people know, man, where can they find you and what you do?
Yeah, so I'm under Automatic Comics on Instagram and YouTube and Twitter, but I don't post on there hardly ever. But yeah, I've been putting out a lot of videos recently, so at least 3 a week, sometimes more than 3 a week. So go and check them out. Do all kinds of unboxings. Do some market videos and kind of like some lists on how things are doing with different keys, like I talked about with Silver Surfer, that kind of stuff. So yeah, just go check out the videos. I just did a CGC unboxing that I released today, and I'm doing a giveaway on that one. So if you want to I'm doing a giveaway on that one. So if you want a chance to win a Thor 127, go check out the video and follow the instructions.
127.
Thanks, Paul.
Oh
Yeah. So it's a multi-key, so I think that it has some potential. So
hey, any giveaway is important and it's fun, man. You're giving away free stuff. That's huge, especially if it's a multi-key, man. That's pretty good.
no doubt.
Face, you're speaking for your 20% of the Comic Kingpins. What is going on in your world, sir?
Well, you can catch us every Saturday at 5 as we drop our FOC show, so you can get your Batman Beyonds on pre-order like newbie.
That's right.
You had them pre-ordered, right?
Yeah. Oh, I've already sold mine. I went today to the shop. They were sold. I literally had them in my possession from like my car ride from the shop to my house. Sold.
And of course, you can always check us out Monday at 7. Previously on.
Yeah. Yep. Guys, they do have a giveaway going when they reach 500 as well. So make sure you guys go tune in to that. 7 p.m. Eastern on every Monday night. So make sure you guys go check that out. And guys, don't forget tomorrow. As much as that Batman book was hot today, tomorrow, First Venus, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 127. We got Moon Knight. We got Morbius on Thursday. It's going to be an exciting week. Catch you guys Sunday, 9:35 p.m. Eastern. Thanks to everybody who's tuning in. Any last words, guys?
Did we confirm when Moon Knight comes out? Is it tonight or is it tomorrow night?
I
Tonight.
think it's 3
Tonight.
a.m. tonight.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That is it. Enjoy. And remember, heroes live forever, but no, heroes.
Oh, Jesus
I don't
Christ.
know, man. I'm out.
Just cut it.